The next distinction that's important to highlight if banks are to fully understand the nature of ethical culture change is the concept that what's legal must be ethical. If ethical alignment hasn't been established, it's maybe easy to see why confusion around the boundaries of ethical conduct might exist, and how then what's legal might naturally establish itself as the definition and standard of compliance. But the gap between what is legal behaviour and what is ethically desirable behaviour can be very significant indeed. Does a financial advisor use the opportunity of a client's request for general market advice to hard sell specific products? Is it illegal? Probably not. But is it ethical? A man walks down the road and keeps on going as an elderly woman falls to the pavement and has difficulty getting to her feet again. Is it illegal not to help her? No. But is it ethical? And so within banking institutions that haven't established ethical alignment, this reliance that the law provides an ethical line in the sand over which we must not step, but up to which we can technically operate, is one of the main stumbling blocks that continues to keep organizations from achieving strong ethical cultures. The law really is a very base tool in terms of measuring and regulating something as nuanced and aspirational as ethical behavior. But organizations often fall into the trap of using it as a benchmark, and individuals perhaps naturally use it to defend unethical behavior which hasn't technically broken regulations. And so why is culture change itself so challenging to achieve, over and above the reasons I've already talked about? Because we know from well-cited research that approximately 70% of all change initiatives within organizations fail to meet expectations. Well, over and above adopting a standard structured approach to delivering change, the research that we have done tells us that there are some core reasons why change is challenging to achieve. Firstly, I've already mentioned, if there is a lack of engagement and real commitment to the idea of change by the organization's leaders and also those tasked with delivering it, it simply won't gain traction. In terms of the way we behave towards change messages, people are hardwired to continuously test the sincerity of the message by analyzing the actions, practices, and even subtle behavioral cues of those above in order to gauge where their own level of commitment needs to be. The second thing that often derails culture change is a loss of momentum. After the initial enthusiasm and activity, change agents often find a lack of time and focus alongside pressure from competing priorities takes its toll on the energy and momentum of the initiative, and it can become swamped and start to drop off the priority list quickly. And when it comes to changing the behavior of organizations, there is generally an overly simplistic and optimistic view about both the timescale, resource, and ultimately the overall effort required in order to achieve the vision. Because of the way that the mind works, as humans, we constantly seek what's familiar, and this tends to result in a strong resistance to change. And so to overcome this, agents of change need to understand how to create a compelling image in the minds of their people to keep them moving forward rather than resorting to the familiar past.